Hi.
Peace to the family. This is Brother Polight. I'm here with yet another powerful installment. I'm back by popular demand, speaking about that money. I was into the metaphysics, I still am. You know, this is a retired life. Many people said I retired because I'm broke and my wife's left me, and I don't have no more cars, I don't have no more homes. Yeah, that's what they say, babe. And hey, if that's what you like to believe. However, I decided to retire because I'm a strong believer in once you succeed, reap the benefits. And for me personally, I work hard so I can have the freedom to be there to educate my children and see them grow older. I don't want to lose sight of who they are by the time I decide to fall back, or when life forces me to fall back. Next thing you know, I don't even know my own children. I also want to spend the time with my wives and give them a taste of life that they're due for enduring the hardships with me in this journey of teaching. Teaching is a very rough road when you're teaching the likes of whom are lacking in culture. Perhaps one of the worst things, and this is going to be one of my next posts, one of the worst things that ever took place in the conscious community was them making money off of posts. Advertisements is one of the worst things. I mean, someone will put up a video disrespecting another brother and get paid by white advertisements to do so. The second we started being able to monetize our channels, we lost our souls. Just for the sake of clickbait, people will even make up things, propagate slander, propagate rumors, and you gotta watch commercials in between it all while they destroy their own, professing to love their own people. If they had economic outlets, they wouldn't compromise the integrity of their own moral compass. However, they don't believe in themselves because they don't have the educational tools or resources. And that's where I fit in. So I did do something somewhat on economics. I was speaking about the Bitcoin, and what happened was people were like, come on, Polight, you gotta give up some of this information again, man. I know you retired, but that don't mean you gotta stop teaching the economics, stop teaching on real estate. So because I had a special conference with the brothers and sisters that are part of my mentorship program that made quite a bit of money of recently off of Bitcoin. And I also had to scold them mildly because a lot of them took the monies out. A lot of them took the money out. You feel what I'm saying? And they took the money out to spend it and do positive things with it, I'm sure. But I had to let them know why it was more important for them to hold and buy. Because, I mean, once you sell it, the next time you look to buy it, unless you're buying it fractionally, the next time you buy it, it's going to be thousands of dollars at a time. I was doing this or teaching this information for quite some time before it was even $1,000 a share. And that's what makes this thing so very beneficial. That's what makes it so very important. So at this particular moment, I did a conference with them. I actually just got off from doing a cryptocurrency conference for those people that's in my mentorship program so they can have enough strategy. I realized there was more that had to be taught because a lot of us don't anticipate that major come up. I mean, nobody really anticipated the stock to go up so high so fast. The increments in which the stock was going up was pretty good. I mean, more than good, but we didn't expect it to go that fast, except for those people that's in my program, but I know they had a seed of doubt there. And so when this happened, they made that money and they lost their mind. I had to say, slow down, so we gotta do an emergency conference so you all don't sell everything out, because this is just the beginning. Like I said, they can only make 3,500 coins at a time through a process called mining. And that's in the interim of the mathematics that's necessary in evaluation in order for the competitors to be able to produce a coin in itself. And understanding that every 4 years, half the amount of coinage that can be produced crypto-wise will be produced. So if we're at 3,500 now, you can surmise 4 years from now we'll be at 1,750 for the most part, and what will be able to be produced. And it's only 16 to 20 million coins in circulation at this particular moment. I also saw something very interesting where brother showed me some screenshots of someone saying, yeah, I was sending Polight emails about Bitcoin years ago, you know, and I'm gonna post it to show you all. And I have no idea what that zealousness is about. However, it is what it is. It is what it is. I have no idea what it's about. I don't know why people get so excited. If you have the information, do what you do. Like people say, man, he don't even know what he's talking about. I didn't even put enough information out there on the live for you to even come to the conclusion how much I know. But one thing I can tell you, that I got more than a photographic memory. So when I teach this information, it's all a recital. I can actually see the page that I'm reading off of from whatever I study. That's why what I say or what I convey is so fluent and so expansive. This memory right here has saved my life, and it has empowered me to make a lot of money and given me the ability to share things in a very accurate way to the people that's walking with me. Now, what we'll get into, and I just wanted to explain that. So after I did the Bitcoin live feed, really just to let brothers and sisters know what's going on and to congratulate the brothers and sisters that's in the mentorship program that paid top dollar for the program to be involved in one of many incomes, one of which being cryptocurrency. I have to say salute to you, congratulations to you. And we had an awesome conference, and this is just a follow-up. I said, you know what, I'm gonna just go live after the conference. We had a beautiful conference, beautiful setting, and I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. And in fact, I also have a celebration party for those who are part of the mentorship program, who've been making a lot of money off of me and the teachings, particularly the cryptocurrency as one of the incomes, and as well as tax deed, because we just had a tax deed auction, which a lot of us benefited from greatly. I want to say thank you, and of course y'all already have y'all invites for my club. Okay, you know we getting it in on Thursday. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna celebrate. You made enough money, travel into town. I'm doing a special conference meeting in person, organically, and then we're gonna club. You know, we're gonna have fun, but don't worry, because we also sell green juices in my club. You feel what I'm saying? And you know, I always give out books at the end of the party anyway. So I thank y'all for celebrating with me. I'm looking forward to it. Ahead of time, I gotta say thank you. And for those of you that's interested in the mentorship program, by popular demand, I'm opening it up again for a short period of time, not taking that much people, because I'm gonna be traveling quite a bit all over the world. I've been invited to Africa again to teach, and amongst many other places. I got one beautiful location that I'm about to go to that many people don't even anticipate. And you know, I'm presently on an island tour, but I just came back for a little bit of time. So I have to be careful in how much people I take on to mentor, so I can fulfill my obligation to commit to whomever that I'm dealing with. But like I said, this is the retired life for me. I retired so I can do the other part of what a person's supposed to do. If I'm teaching and you love the way that I share this information, it's only because I'm constantly experiencing new things. I'm constantly taking in new herbs. I'm constantly traveling to new areas, new lands, meeting different people. So it keeps my account of existence very exciting. So when I have to convey new information to you, it's always progressive, and it's always different, or it has something unique about it, whereby it's not redundant, because redundancy voids the brain. So we don't want the information to be redundant. So I'm just saying all these things just to get people up to date and up to current, that amongst many other reasons why I retired, doesn't mean I won't come out of retirement. You know, black folks, when we at the top of our game, we get back into the game. I mean, every time I teach, I say, man, I'm ready to do a lecture. I got some stuff I want to share. I'm not going to lie to you. Every time I do these lives, I'm ready to go. So you're interested in the mentorship program, hit me at brother, POLIGHT45@gmail.com. Always leave your full name and your phone number. Always leave your full name and your phone number. Brother, POLIGHT45@gmail.com. Get in while you can in real time. Like I said, by popular demand, I'm only doing this economic thing. I was just going to do the metaphysics, share my homeschooling, and just be out. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just relaxing. However, I don't mind sharing any accounts that can help move you forward. And for those of you that have the space or the resources to invest in the mentorship program, do so and do it in real time, because I'm just enjoying my life. And I enjoy teaching too, so don't take it personal. As far as today's subject matter is concerned, we're talking about real estate and the nuances of it. We're talking about things that people don't know. Now, this is information I share in the mentorship program, but let's just share some of this information to you all now. Let's say you purchase a property at the tax deed auction. And when you buy this property, let's say it's a $100,000 property and you're buying the property for about, let's say, $7,000. Of course, you know this is $7,000 represents the amount equal past due and back taxes. We know that they're not going based off of the assess value of the property, more rather the county selling the property for the amount equal due and back taxes. So let's say the property is $7,000. What we know is assessed value was $100,000. Now you buy the property for $7,000. You wait the time you get your deed. What then do you do? Well, there's a couple things that you need to take into consideration. One, you need to transfer the ownership to your company. Get it out of your name if you bought it in your name. That company, namely, should be a trust. To preference, it should be an irrevocable trust, or maybe a real estate investment trust, or maybe even an endowment fund trust. It should be one of the three things. But we'll move forward. You want to transfer that deed over to the trust. And this will be reflective in the title, of course. Very important information. Of course, the mentorship program, I'll elaborate and expound more why we're using this type of strategy. Of course, when you do so, you need to have a security agreement. And this is the precursor to you setting up a UCC. The security agreement will, in elaborate form, identify the relationship amongst you, the entity, particularly the trust, and that property. It's going to be very important. If you take it a step further, then perhaps you may have like a LLC or C Corp, S Corp, Type B, private gift company, whatever the case may be. And you'll make one entity work or perform in public, and to preference, you'll have the trust work in the private. So the trust will automatically have a superior lien on the entity that you use to purchase the property. That's when we're doing it at our highest level. And this is for you to establish yourself as a secure party creditor, not based on speculation, more rather operation. So you don't want to be a secure party creditor based on your speculative ability. You want to be a secure party creditor in an assertion that's based on your demonstration. Because with that comes certain real estate and tax benefits. With that comes certain concessions that would be made onto you based on your demonstration, based on your performance as far as purchasing is concerned. Always understand that there's always going to be concessions made to free people. When you're an adult acting in your minority instead of your majority, there will be little to no concessions made to you. And what that means is, by law, the word minority doesn't allude to percentage. The word minority alludes to an adult acting in an adolescent state of mind. So when we purchase things outside of an adult manner, then what happens is we're rendered what you call a homo commendatus. There are many other occasions you're rendered a homo commendatus. And again, this is in conformity with you being a minority based on law, which is an adult behaving in an adolescent state of mind. Here's an example. Anything that has any certificate that you are issued or is issued is accompanied by a QSIP. An QSIP represents a Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedure. The key word is security, and security is a paper certificate that attests to ownership and equity as in the case of a stock, or ownership of a bond as in the case of a debt obligation which has tradable derivatives, which means it can be sold on the stock market. When you're acting in your minority, it means you can't handle regular obligations and day-to-day situations that adults can handle. So you need a third party to intervene in order for you to fulfill or execute the normal actions of an adult. Here's an example. When you're born into this world, the suggestion is, well, you know what? You're too incompetent to bring children into this world without a third party. So you're going to go to the third party's institution and they're going to issue you a birth certificate. They're going to issue you a birth certificate. And a birth certificate has a Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedure on it, a QSIP. That's what the acronym stands for. So it's the security. So we know we're too incompetent to give birth. We're too incompetent to bring our own children into this world. We need a third party to help us bring life into this world. So they're going to issue a birth certificate. When it's now time to conjoin or bond with the opposite sex and get married, guess what? We're too incompetent to do that. So we need now a marriage certificate. Now, that's not it. Even when it comes time to die, we need a death certificate. So we need them to bring us into this world or help us bring our children into this world. We need them to help us join in union with our lovers. And we also need them to send us out of this planet. We always need a third party to help us. When you're dealing with free people, they don't need that. When you're dealing with free people, they don't need third party assistance because they have a culture. And the culture comes from common customs. What is common customs? Common customs is a calculative system that precipitates culture. By process of differentiation and integration, we're able to find the value of smaller things and factorials of those equivalents, thus granting us the least adverse effects from the decisions that we make. Again, I don't make these things up. Well, actually, that's in my lesson. So that wording, that verbiage, that diction comes from me. But as far as the definitions of all those other phraseologies and terminologies, I just commit them to memory because it's very important for what I got to do. And anything that's life-changing or game-changing for me, I'm going to commit to memory. And of course, I made sure holistically, I indulge in the herbs and the type of regimen and activity for me to have the best memory that my body would accommodate for. All right? So it's about a holistic approach towards education. It's not just study and read the right books. It's being in a conducive environment. It's taking the right type of herbs. It's surrounding yourself around the right type of people and knowing when not to be around people. Okay? So we move forward so I don't digress. I just want to point these things out that when we're dealing with real estate, keep in mind that you start school from pre-K, idealistically, most of us get to 12th grade, and it's 14 years of schooling that transpires, and you're supposed to be getting prepared to be an adult. And when you graduate from school, after 14 years of school, with the promise that you need this information to survive in this world, they taught you nothing about credit. They taught you nothing about security agreements. They taught you nothing about purchase agreements. They taught you nothing about UCC, which anybody dealing with real estate is supposed to know something about UCC. Okay? They taught you nothing about deeding, the deeding process when it comes to purchasing real estate. They taught you nothing about titles. They taught you nothing about title searches. Okay? They taught you nothing about the tax equalization ratios and how that affects your purchase, how it implicates you or impacts you when it comes to your property. They taught you nothing about studying the comps. They taught you nothing about the county surveyor. They taught you nothing about what you need the assessor's office for. Okay? They taught you nothing about how to be an adult. Yet you spent 14 years, got a diploma, and now what are you going to do? The first thing you got to do is get your own home, and they never taught you anything about how to purchase a house in school. So how much do they really care about you if you go to school for 14 years and they never taught you anything about how to buy a house? Never taught you anything about the word deed in itself. It wasn't even a vocabulary word for 14 years of school. You didn't even learn the word deed. You didn't even learn the word title. You didn't even learn what type of mortgage to get. You don't know the difference between a bargain and sales deed or a warranty deed. You don't even know. But you're going to go out there and you're going to buy a home and you're going to trust the seller to educate you on the home. And the seller happens to be the banks that's constantly getting in trouble for stealing people's monies. The same banks. And you're going to open up an account with them tomorrow, knowing that you could go all over online and it's been confirmed how much millions of dollars have been taken from people. But you were worried about your own people stealing from you. But you're going to go and get a student loan, and you're never going to ask for a refund, even though they're never going to follow through on what they said your education was worth. You're never going to get a refund. You're not even going to ask them for a refund on your student loan. You don't have the gall nor the audacity to do so. but you will look at your own people. And because your channel can be monetized, you're going to put some commercials there and degrade your own people so white people can benefit from it. Companies, white families and establishments will benefit from your degradation of your own people. Anyway, so we're going to real estate, and let's say you buy a property for $7,000 and it's worth $100,000 from a tax deed auction, and we understand that they're selling the property based on the past due delinquent property tax per the redemption period. The redemption period is the amount of time that a county allows you to go delinquent before they solicit the sale of your debt in the form of a lien. Okay, that's exactly what a lien is. A lien is an encumbrance. It's a debt obligation. So now, you purchase the property for $7,000. You know the assets value is $100,000. Now you have to pay taxes on that property. If you're under Brother Polight's guidance, tutelage, or mentorship, remember, if you're interested, go to brother, Polight 45 at gmail.com. Brother Polight 45 at gmail.com. Always leave your full name and your phone number. Taking X amount of students. Only a small amount because I'm retired. All right. Now you get this property for $7,000. It's worth $100,000. Now you have it. What then do you do with the tax situation? Well, most of you are going to wind up still paying taxes for a $100,000 property. But what you don't realize is if you bought the property for $7,000, you should be paying taxes based on $7,000, not based on $100,000. They don't tell you that. Now, you may not realize how deep and how important that information is. If the property is worth $100,000 and you go to a tax deed auction and you buy it for $7,000, you need to deal with the tax assessor. You need to deal with the assessor office. You need to make sure you get the taxes changed up on that property. Why? Because you bought it for $7,000. So you legally have the right to pay taxes on a property as though its assessed value is $7,000 because that's what you bought it for, despite the fact it's worth $100,000. So now you got a $100,000 property that you're only paying taxes in fair ratio to $7,000. Now you have to make an adjustment in the tax equalization ratio. Now you have to deal with that, and that's also based on comps. And I have to show you mathematically how to conduct those evaluations. I also have a pay-per-view course that I taught people about that empowers people with that as well. Okay, where you have to do the math. I taught that in the course already, how to evaluate tax equalization ratio, especially per the state. So this is just an example of some of the information that you learned during the mentorship program, and just something that I'm just giving away on the strength. Because so much information, there's so many different strategies, so many different tactics, so many different approaches. I'm just giving you some knowledge. You also want to deal with the county surveyor, and there's other entities that you want to communicate with to get information. The reason why you want to get into the thick of different institutions that are set up for you to learn is because of this. Consider this. If there were building plans for a community, somebody would already have put down the projection. And if these building plans are, for example, for a mall, oftentimes there's land around that area. Vacant land, vacant lots. So you may say, man, what I want to buy vacant lots for? Polite Raleigh, you got people buying vacant lots. Yes, I have people buying vacant lots because we understand that 5 years, 7 years, 8 years from now, they have building plans for a major project over there. And what's going to happen is you're going to buy the land that's in the way of that project. And guess what's going to happen? The people that are invested in purchasing that area are going to have to buy you out because your land is right in the way or within the vicinity of where they plan to build. Facts. So what you're doing is investing long term. This is an expenditure. This is not a short-term investment. This is an expenditure. You're going to invest in this lot under the pretense that you understand what the projections are. You understand what they're planning to build there in the future. So you're going to purchase it just to be in their way, and they're going to have to buy you out. I'll show you how to do the research on that. So to other people, it's just junk. It's just a vacant land. Who cares? Who's concerned? But you understand what the blueprint is. You understand what the zoning rules are. You understand you're right in the way. And oftentimes they don't go out their way to buy all that stuff yet, because they still going through the prerequisite steps to authenticate and officialize their process. Okay? Those strategies are also taught in the mentorship program, and you execute in the program. People make money during the course of the program, so when the program's over, you will continue to make money off of whatever I taught you. I'm giving you this for free right now. And some of you may not even realize the significance of what I'm saying right now, because we're so far behind. You may just get the truth right here for free, right in front of your face, and may not even realize how valuable it is. You feel what I'm saying? You may not even realize that. But it's all love. It's all love. It's all love. I want to tell you guys the beautiful woman that I'm around. I'm glad y'all appreciate the knowledge. We is out here. The lovely Sister Aminette. Look at those shoes matching the dress. You got to see the shoes that match the dress. She's a beautiful dark woman. She's a beautiful melaninated woman. One of those letters roll. I don't know what it is. Melaninated. We're rolling the L. Freak it. The double L in Spanish. Melaninated. She's beautiful and she's melanated. Yeah, so I'm just giving up the goods, giving up the knowledge. I thank y'all for appreciating. I'm reading the comments right now. I just wanted to make sure y'all walking with me, because I could just walk away. Just wanted to make sure people walking with me. You could go to brother POLIGHT45 at gmail.com. Yes, it costs for the mentorship program. The cost is inclusive of what you're investing in per the program. Well, I can tell you this: if you was just investing in what I shared with you, I'm not trying to play myself, but if you just was investing in what I shared with you, it'd be a wrap anyway. Because you could take this information and run with it. Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. I'm glad. Thank you. A brother said he going to bid very soon. He needed that information. I don't think you understand what you just dropped. That's what I'm talking about. Nah, I don't. Yeah, family, I'm coming. All right, I'm ready for you. Want me there? Yeah. I don't like the vision on that side. Okay. But we back. Pour some more. I need some hot cocoa. Well, yeah. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 M's in my bank account. Yeah, my bank account. Yeah, nah, it's not. I don't know. That song grew on me, man. I wasn't really about that song. And those of you hating on Bron, he just pulled it off again. They're 11 straight. Him and Wade is making it happen. I love him. JR was looking good. But enough with the Cavs update. I had to give you an intermission. So yes, you're going to go to brotherpolight45 at gmail.com. Share this video. Share this wealth of wisdom. Always share the video. Always share the video. Always share the video. Share the video. Share it right now as we're talking. Include people on the conversation. It's very important. Like I said, I can never stress it enough. From pre-K to 12th grade, 14 years of school, and they didn't teach you to even give you the vocabulary word deed. They didn't even give you the vocabulary word title. UCC, Uniform Commercial Code. What is paperwork in law? Court. Court means paperwork. Therefore, the courtroom is what? The forum in which you discuss the paperwork. And that's why I teach, and it's common knowledge for those who are proficient or made suitable proficiency in the preceding degrees, that your paperwork must precede you. Your paperwork must precede you. And what that means when we say your paperwork must precede you, yes, what that means is when you say your paperwork must precede you, means your conversation should already be embedded into that legal forum before you show up on day one. So when they ask you, do you understand the nature of these charges? You say, yes, I understand the nature of these charges, but not how they apply to me. Well, how do you plead? I'm not here to make pleas nor plea bargains. I'm here on special appearance to challenge the court on the grounds they lack jurisdiction over organic living soul. Well, we're going to put a plea in for you anyway. Objection. Under the grounds you lack jurisdiction over organic living soul, making violation of the supreme laws of the land. Put your hands down. Self-preservation is first law of my inherited birthright. Take that hat off. This is not a hat. This is a headdress that denotes my nationality. I got all this in my brain. I know I digress. Let me get back to real estate. But what you don't realize is that's property talk. You're considered state property. You have to show that they lack jurisdiction. What is legally being said in the phraseology that they use? Diction. See, that dictionary should be a definitionary because most of you only open it up to find out the meanings. Diction is the way a person uses an assortment of words or the way that they say a word in particular. Okay? So we don't really open up the dictionary to enunciate words properly, nor do we open up the dictionary to find out how to properly assort words in a way so we can best communicate to others what we mean. We normally just go for the meaning. So it should be a definitionary. But when we're dealing with jurisdiction, we're dealing with that which is legally said. What is legally being said when you have jurisdiction, okay? Or when you're challenging someone's jurisdiction. And this is why it's important to establish yourself as a secured party creditor through the Crown Doctrine that we set up. Because when you establish yourself as a secured party creditor, not speculatively, but operatively. And what I mean by speculative, people speculatively have everything on paper that suggests how powerful they are, and they be prideful. They got so many people selling you all types of paperwork that tells you how great you are, what the government can do, what power you actually have. Well, in fact, it's just speculation. What I teach is you need to collateralize an asset, and in doing so, you secured it. Hence the term secured party creditor. That means that you have an interest in something that has been perfected. It's called a perfected claim. And what that does is diffuse the presumption of the item sonance. And the item sonance is a false rendering of a name based on distinction of characters. So they can use your name all caps or lowercase, and just because of that distinction, there'll be a presumption of law or an inference made that they're talking to two different entities, and they'll have one qualify the other. And this is why, even if you look at a bank check, you take your glasses or a magnifying lens and you put it on the place where you sign, you'll come to terms with the fact that, oh, sweat, there's words there that I'm signing on that line. That line isn't a line, it's a group of words that says authorized signature. Whose signature are you authorizing? The transmitting utility. And this is why when they summons you to court, that's exactly what they're doing. They're calling on a ghost or a spirit. They're calling on someone to come in the personage of the fiction, the legal fiction. I'm not making up these terms. They're calling on someone to represent the legal fiction that they created and put into the Cestike Trust from the time that you was born, when they created a promissory note in the form of the certificate of manifesto, namely your birth certificate. I know I said it a lot, you can always rewind it. You feel me? I just be in the flow, so I'm just dropping it. I got bars. You feel me? If this was hip hop, I'd be killing them right now. I would have 3-0'd somebody just now. I don't play with this information. So just keep in mind, all this is free. So if it's all over the place, which I really don't teach all over the place. I actually put it in order. This information is actually given to you in order. Because you may say, what this got to do with real estate? It has everything to do with real estate, because they treat you like property as well. So when you demonstrate purchasing property like an adult, as a twofold meaning. One, as an entrepreneur, and two, as a sovereign. You may say, sovereign? Uh-oh. What that mean? Throw your birth certificate and Social Security in the water? Be able to get away with vehicular homicide if I hit somebody, I still don't have to go to court, I don't have to be subject to the jurisdiction? It don't mean none of that. What it means to be sovereign, based on common law, is to own property without a conditional interest. That is to say, to have a fee simple relationship with your property. Okay, when you establish a perfected claim or first in time, first in line lien on your property, whereby nobody else can assert the same, because you properly rendered onto yourself true ownership of a property, the property is rendered the crown. When you own a property free and clear to the best of your ability, at the fullest extent of the law. The property based on common law is called the crown. Who wears the crown or who has the crown? Royalty or the sovereign. And this is why the sovereign is able to set up a staple, a marketplace where people can buy or sell. This staple can be an apartment building where people are renting out from you, where you got a landlord, where you got a janitor. So now you've employed different people. You have your own place where people are not permitted to trespass. That's what a sovereign does. Landlord. Okay, that's what a sovereign does. You have rulership beyond the conventional capacity of the average person. You'll be able to act in your majority as a sovereign. It's real talk. This is real talk. Okay, wrapping up in a few minutes. I just came out of conference. I had no idea I was gonna put this much out. Just came out of conference and wanted to share more. I'll be lit with this information. I retired, so this Facebook Live is my way to get it in. You know what I'm saying? This is my way to get this off. So the sovereign is one who has the crown. The crown is the actual property. And when you own the property to the fullest extent of the law, void of a conditional interest, which we know in UCC 9-105 in parentheses D, that a debtor can only conditionally own property, we understand the presumption of law stipulates that everything they're doing to you is perfectly legal unless you say otherwise. And then people say, but what if I was doing everything somewhat the wrong way because I didn't know the law? Or what if I had my child born under the birth certificate and I ain't know the law? Then it's an instance of nunc pro tunc. And per nunc pro tunc, which in Latin means now for then, you have the right, like we say this, the law stipulates ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's true. But we also must know he who creates the liability must have a remedy. He who creates liability must have the remedy. Okay? So, having considered this, what is the remedy? What is the remedy? Well, he who creates the liability must have the remedy. So, in an example, if there is a person that had divorced somebody legally, and 3 years later they marry again, only to find out when they marry, oh man, the divorce wasn't conducted properly, not by any fault of their own. Should they be locked up or face any penalties of bigamy when they believe, to the fullest extent of the law, that the divorce was executed legally? The answer is absolutely no. That's an instance of per nunc pro tunc. That's a now for then instance. That means you can't be held accountable. You just been brought to full cognizance that something transpired that was illegitimate and you had no awareness of it. You feel me? That's how that goes. Let's get it in. No, we about to get in. We're about to get it in. We're about to get it in. Showing y'all love. This makes me feel good just looking at this beautiful woman.
Oh my goodness.
I have to. She's amazing.
Thank you.
Almanette. Fire. That's right.
I miss you guys.
Uh-oh, say again.
I miss you guys.
I know, those lectures is dope.
Love you, fam.
Said I'm giving them a Lux third round. Yeah, so the email, someone asked for the email again, is brother, POLIGHT 45@gmail.com. Again, and always put your full name and your phone number there. I know some people have very short attention spans, so sometimes the conversation goes left field. However, don't get distracted by it. Always understand this is a rare time and occasion where if people really say they care about you, they give you valuable information you can use and make applicable in your life. Put the pieces together. I put enough free information for you to sew it together and be able to do something with it without me. For those who just like, you know what, I want to do this under his tutelage, email me at brotherpolight45@gmail.com. I must warn you, I do cost money, especially in my retirement. I do cost money. I'm proud to say I've retired. Retired. I'm tired again and again and again. I'm dealing with some weird people, and so I needed a break. However, I'll be back. I guarantee you that. But I want you to know I'm still sharp, and personally, I feel no one gives it up like I do. I feel like that personally. When I see somebody who can retain the information the same way I do, without the I be going crazy. Like, man, you're a teacher by now. You're supposed to get the you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And all the cuss words. I'm like, you're filling in where you're lacking with cuss words. I know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So, I understand that people that are walking with us are going to wind up speaking like us, or they're going to aspire to present or articulate themselves in similar fashion. And even if that wasn't their goal, when you listen to anyone or you share the company of someone long enough, you wind up picking up their cadence. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. Having considered that, communication is a great and high responsibility, because we understand the sentiments you share, that which you impart on other people in the form of wisdom, will also be shared vicariously through them, from you. Okay, so we have to just take a lot of things into consideration. So no, it's not a knock to other people. It's just to simply say, man, I put a lot of effort into what I do. If I debate, I go to the country and I do the research. I spend the extra money, bring video, take down notes, jot down on the iPad, pictures galore. And if that person's ready to really dance, I'm ready. But I haven't been brought that level of scholarship yet. And then, on another debate, I go to the country again. I'm like, man, people ain't ready. So I said, unfortunately, I need to stop dealing with the people in the community, because they're too invested in my personality. They're too invested in my personal life. When given the opportunity to speak about that which they hold dear in their heart and their minds, their religion, their politics, whatever the case may be, their theology, however you want to call it, I realize they're more obsessed with me, the person. And this is their opportunity to castigate me before the public or disrespect me. While the whole time I'm traveling to another country, they're just downloading PDFs for free. It's not fair. I'm putting my money, time, and energy into the study. And I would love to be challenged so the people can benefit at best hearing a diatribe amongst two people that are actually committed to study. Well, until that day arises, I believe I will have to go outside the community for those debates. So I will have debates coming up, but unfortunately, I have to decline from the diatribes that were consistent with working with people in the community, because it's too much drama. And I don't want to present my information under those circumstances anymore. And as always, there's a helicopter. What? I don't know what it is. It's the whole United States filled with helicopters, or anywhere I go. I swear, every time I'm going somewhere, if you watch these streams enough, you hear that music somewhere in the stream. I'm about to just be on some and start running like Jerome.
Oh my gosh, I'm finished with you.
Wow. I don't know. Maybe coincidence. Though it's happened more than 2 times. 2 incidences coinciding. However, we back at it, and it's circling. I would like to say a lot of stuff to you all about my personal life and experience, but you would then call me crazy. But there's some things that you're always going to observe when I do these live feeds like this. And you ain't say, man, that Negro's just paranoid. So what? There's a helicopter everywhere he goes, every time he teaches. So what? This helicopter's always circling over his head. And I mean, this is just a live feed. Y'all have no idea what it looks like day to day for me. But it is what it is. And if you're keeping up with the metaphysics that I'm sharing, and remember, when I teach metaphysics, it's not about the incorporeal per se or the speculative aspect of things. We're talking about the nature of matter and the energy thereof. We're talking about the properties of matter, okay? Energy and all. So when we do anything pertaining to classical physics extended, that's called metaphysics. So understand, I'm never just talking about something out the auspices of science. Metaphysics truly means that which goes beyond the convention of classical physics. So we're talking about space physics, and we're talking about supersymmetry, and we're talking about quantum chromodynamics, and we're talking about quantum entanglement, quantum mechanics, then we're talking about metaphysics. So yes, metaphysics is being taught in universities and all. Many will have you believe that the conscious community has the metaphysics in a headlock, but yet they have very few scientific references. Or they pyramid inferences and periodically give you a scientific reference, and then they give you their inferences at best. And there's nothing wrong so long as you qualify when you're thinking and making things up or hypothesizing, and when others are. But then the next thing we have to do responsibly as scholars is to take the time out to see if what educated guesses we're coming up with have already been thought about already, so we don't waste people's time. Now, you may say, well, this is what I think, but that may have been thought of already and already executed, and they may say, oh, X that out already. Plenty of times I hear things, so I'm like, man, that's X out already. Like when people say things like the metal nature has never been deciphered. You know, that conversation is big conversation for people in our community. But for literate people, we know better than to even have an argument about it per se. Not to say that either one of the two sides are not intelligent. They're excited about the information. But you must know we have to do a comparative linguistic study before we come to the conclusion that a language finds itself separate and different from everything else on planet Earth. You must know that there's a dialect continuum, okay? And there's mutual intelligibility and asymmetrical intelligibility. So this means that within a land, it's going to be very hard for you to find a language type that isn't associated with several other language types. And there's three main language types from which all other languages pretty much spread it from and promulgated into different communities. And some so broken that it's asymmetrical, and others so similar that it's mutual. And that's what is meant by mutual intelligibility and asymmetrical, okay, intelligibility within the confines of what we call a dialect continuum. And thus, we now have to know what a harmonious morphological culk is. We now have to know what philology is, because we have to do a philological perusal of the language. Then we must know what Bantu languages are, particularly when it comes to Medu Neter, or the language of our ancestors, what they call it in hieroglyphics, which I tend to say is not necessarily a language per se, because of its uniqueness, and it transcends just the conventional approach towards ideographic and pictographic meanings and disposition, but that's a whole nother thing. But I'm saying, being meticulous enough to study, we would never come to the conclusion that a language could not be deciphered, considering the area from which this language springboarded from, because there were languages that pre-existed that language, and there are languages that still exist to this very day, still spoken, from which that language derives. Okay? So now it may be a manner of Karshuni, which is another linguistic detail when characters are being borrowed from other people's languages to facilitate reading, but not meaning or speech. See, it's about taking the time out for study. So when you explain these things to people, and the only thing they can do is call you a mother effer or some variation of nigger, part of my language, because I'm on a linguistic fast. But I said this for comprehensive purposes. I didn't say it because I'm out of control. But I should have said the N-word because I'm on a language fast. I should have said that. When the person you're going into your deliberations with calls you a bunch of demeaning, derogatory terms because you're educating them, after a while, and then it turns into, I'm going to slander you forever. Then I'm like, man, these people are so insecure about information that this is what they're going to resort to. I fall back. And then again, sometimes I'm speaking and I would like to be able to do this to somebody. You feel me? Harmonious morphological code. Word. And I'm like, no one knows what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I be nerding out. So there's so many ways to prove how these ideas are so fallacious. But who has the time to even listen to it? Nobody want to listen. That's the problem. So I need to retire from speaking to certain people because it makes them violent, negative, and angry. It makes them disrespectful. They attack your family and children. And they'll never say, it's only because I want to avoid the conversation. They'll never say, I want to avoid the conversation at hand. But you're not going to box with me when it comes to linguistics on that level. I'm not saying I know everything. I know enough to know when something's not correct. I know that. And if given the opportunity and I'm not cut off and cursed out, where the curse words and the negative energy becomes such a distraction, no one's even interested in the information, there can be a lot of learning taking place. Well, who wants to know that I'm leading a bunch of people in the wrong direction and now Brother Polight is correcting it? Because now it's like, but then I guess this is not about learning. Because if I get corrected, I say, yo, I apologize, or I stand corrected. Because everyone's given the right to be wrong at different times in their life. There's some things that I just really take the time out to learn. As a person, I got a lot of character flaws. When it comes to study, you'll find very few. I can just tell you that. You're going to get me on my character flaws as a person, but you're not really going to get me when it comes to the scholarship, because before I open my mouth and speak about it, I'm here, I read both sides of the conversation. I don't just read the side of the conversation that agrees with me. And that's why I say research and searching are two different things. Most people research, but they don't search. And what I mean by that is most people look for information that they agree with. So they'll look for a title, they hate white people. If the title looks like it agrees with their disdain for white people, they already agree with the information. You see, this book says this. They hate Egypt, they get a book that's anti-Egypt. Look, the author said this, but they don't even take the time out to say, what is this author's credentials? How long has this author been in the field? Were they ever responsible for any breakthroughs in their genre of study or field of expertise? Okay? I don't just want to read a book because it agrees with me and then present it to you all and say, look, this book says this. I need to know, did they pave the way? You know, or are they just hypothesizing and I like their hypothesis and I'm just going to share it with y'all? When we dealing with scholarship, we talking about methodology. We talking about a set series of steps that must be employed in order for one to properly execute meaning to their thesis. That's what we need to know. And I'm not going to go on my nerdy rants. I'm about to get ready to get out of here. I enjoy y'all. I love y'all. You know, I'm venting intellectually what I would like to see the community rise to. I want to have certain types of conversations. You know, I'm ready to box. It could be Islam, it could be Judaism, it could be Scientology. It don't matter. I know I put a lot of effort into my study. I'm constantly studying. I study like I have to prepare for a debate right now. Sharper than I ever been since the time I took off. Because after a while, if you keep building with people that's not on the same frequency, after a while, if you keep building with people that's not of the same frequency, who don't have the same zeal towards study, then what's going to wind up happening is you're going to start lowering the value of your grade of education. Meaning, someone's either going to convert me or I'm going to convert them. You understand what I'm saying? I'm either going to start talking like them or they're going to start talking like me. We're going to start picking each other up. But one of us is going to pick up more of the other. So that means if I stay in a certain arena too long, I'm going to feel the necessity to always have the curse to communicate intellectual thoughts and ideas. Unless I find myself in a different forum that demands more of me. And that's important to me because I don't want to get people lost in the conversation. I know, yeah, we looking to communicate with another demographic. Well, after years of communicating with a certain demographic, I then develop a following, and it's my responsibility to take them to the heights, not speak the same way they met me when I came in. That's for young people just coming in. But what happens when you've been around for X amount of years? I'm not supposed to sound the same way I sounded when I first came into the community. I should be changing. I should be growing. There should be a gradual or a very fast growth where you can make a distinction between 1 year and the next. So people may say, oh man, nah, you just showing off for them Hollywood types and everything. Absolutely. Because my value goes up higher and higher. The more intelligent I become, the more wise I grow, and the more self-respect I have. My value goes up. So you don't have to just make that exclusive to the new people I'm around, but I had to associate myself with new people because the type of people I was communicating, connecting with, they don't want to grow. They want to stay on the same level, business-wise and scholarship-wise. They're content with having the same old conversations with no execution, and I'm not with that. I want to move forward. I got too much self-respect for you to see me in the same position talking about relatively the same things, or just waiting for current events to happen so I could do a YouTube on, yo, you see they just killed this sister. Family, we got to get down. We got to bang. Yo, you see they just killed this brother. Family, we got to get down. Look, you see they rioting over down there? What y'all doing? Y'all ain't doing a damn thing. I don't want to do that. That's corny, man. I'm doing current events. I don't want to be a newscaster. A lot of these conscious people are newscasters. They've reduced themselves from being lecturers to being newscasters. You feel what I'm saying? It's telling you what's going on in places they're not at. When there's a bunch of things going on right where they're at and they need to fix it. I don't want to do that. I want to share what I feel is empowering me in the highest hopes and endeavor that there's people likened to me with similar concerns, similar interests, that if it's empowering me, it obviously will empower them simultaneously. Signing off, Iluvu, as we say in our language, which means perpetual success. I love you all. This is brother POLIGHT45@gmail.com. Signing off. That's the email. Always leave your name, your full name, and your phone number. We can get lit together. I love teaching. So you get down with the mentorship program. You got the fiat to pay the brother to help you get to the next level. I'm with it. Takes you time. I'm with that. I'll do the program periodically, but like I said, I took some time off. I did a lot of traveling, and I got some space with some people. I do that. You know, whenever I got space and I'm feeling up for it, I'm gonna do that. Get on board when you can. Stop wasting time. Stop procrastinating. You're not saving anybody anything. You know, plenty of people gonna want to see if it works for you before they decide to do it. You do it. Let me see what goes down. You know, because they scared, but they're not scared to spend every time. You know, Arabs got gas in the headlock. Jews tend to be accountants and landlords. When you look at black folk, you know, Koreans have the fruit and vegetable stand. Look at black folk, what we got? We got consumerism. We purchase. That's our culture. Our economic culture is the purchase from those who economically created a culture for them to sell a major product. So certain products are the forte of certain communities. You can literally think of certain communities and think of a corresponding product. Black people are not even going to make money off of Christmas or Thanksgiving. You feel what I'm saying? But they're going to practice it more than everybody else. Salute to you. I hope that you feel empowered. I hope you've learned a whole lot of information. Thank you for listening. This was therapeutic for me. Shared a lot of information. I'm proud of it. Hope you are too. Iluvu, perpetual success. Iluvu. Peace, y'all. Love you all, for real. Gonna hang out with Boo and do my thing now. The email address, again, is brother, POLIGHT45@gmail.com. I'm actually going to write it right now to sign off. Okay, that's POLIGHT45@gmail.com. You get those herbs, you can email me about the herbs. We do that over the phone. She's dope. She definitely is dope. She's definitely dope. She's definitely dope. Look at her. She's super dope. she's super dope. Yes, she is. That afro is on fleek.
It's shrinking up, but
It's shrinking. It still look good. It look good. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 strands of hair.
you're funny.
Love you all too, man. Yes, she is.
Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate
it
the
is.
love. I'm ready.
Thank you all. Let's get it. See y'all later, man. Peace. Natural beauty. That's a fact. I hate hanging up on y'all. Normally the phone dies. That's how I get off. Majestic Rain said she's so beautiful. Tell her to keep shining.
Thank you, sir. Love you, Majestic.
All right, y'all. I'm out of here.